Hello and welcome to my Hack Shack located right here in Los Angeles. My name is Johnny and I support horror. This week I watched a pretty fun movie called Spree. It's a simple summer popcorn film to watch, but also it has a big underlying message about our addiction to technology, ADD, influencer culture. I laughed, I rolled my eyes, I had fun. So let's talk about this rideshare driver that goes on a murder spree for attention, shall we? Spree is a thriller, dark comedy horror movie written and directed by Eugene Kotlarenko. Kurt Kunkel is a social media obsessed young man who desperately wants to go viral and have a huge following. He does video after video doing live streams and vlogs, but nothing seems to be pushing him into that fame that he wants. Kurt used to babysit a kid named Bobby, who is now a huge social media star and live streams under the name Bobby Basecamp and just has a very large audience. He is relying on Bobby to help him build his following by sharing Kurt's videos, but first he has to prove to Bobby that his content is worthy. Frustrated with his lack of following and attempts to become viral, Kurt, who works as a rideshare driver for Spree, decides to up the ante and fill his car with cameras so that he can live stream all of his trips. One day he begins a new live stream called The Lesson, where he's going to instruct all of his viewers on how they can get famous on social media. He then proceeds to do horrible things to his passengers, all while live streaming just for the likes, comments, views, and hopefully more followers. So I think we've all heard stories about Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, we'll just call them rideshare drivers, harassing their customers in the car, or the other way around, the customers giving shit to the driver. But this story takes it to the next level. It kind of reminds me of that beginning scene of The Bone Collector, when the taxi driver has that couple in his car and he starts driving them off the path that they want, and they're just freaking out and screaming and hitting the window and telling him to stop the car. It's a really eerie scene. This movie Spree isn't anything like that though. That scene from The Bone Collector, just like the entire movie, is very dark and dreary. The tone of this movie is very scrambled because it comes off as lighthearted and fun a little bit, but it's just so messed up. And I like that. It was the performance of Joe Keery as Kurt Kunkel that really slammed that dark comedy tone home, in my opinion. He did such a great job at playing this obsessed wannabe social media influencer. Throughout the movie, his upbeat nature, even when killing and hurting his victims, never changed. He'd be proud and excited that he was getting all these murders on camera, but he was getting off on how he thought this would just make him super famous. He didn't get off on the actual murders as killers normally do in movies. Everything he did was for shock value, just to grow his audience. And that's messed up. And I like that, again. And normally killers in movies have that deranged look, silent and sadistic. They just carry themselves like you'd think a mass murderer would. Not Kurt, he's got that influencer speak down pat. Follow me, tag me bro, sub for a sub. Oh shit, do I do that too well? What I'm saying is you want extreme characters like Kurt, whether you're rooting for them or not, because it just makes the movie more exciting. He's so far removed from the real world. There was a couple lines in the movie he said that made me laugh. One line was, "If you're not documenting yourself, it's simple, you just don't exist." Another line he said was when he drove by a large homeless encampment and scoffed at them, and he's like, no social media presence. Like, come on, bro. And he said that in a way where he wasn't joking. Solid dialogue like that gives us more reason to think that this kid is nuts, aside from all the other crazy antics. I thought the way they shot this was cool, but also drove home the theme of just how disconnected from reality we all are. Most of the movie we're seeing multiple camera views. For example, we'll see a view of Kurt's phone, but also at the same time we'll see views from cameras in the back of his car. Or when he's live streaming, walking around, and he'll approach someone that's doing an Instagram story. We will see both of those views on screen at the same time. We're also seeing the driving app showing the navigation, and we're seeing all the comments from the people in the live stream, all the likes, all the views. It's just crazy. It's fast-paced, constantly switching, all in this massive digital space that we live in. It does get a little overwhelming, just like in real life. There's just too many platforms that we're checking, and that's exactly why we have to take social media breaks sometimes. times, right? And let's quickly talk about the killings in this movie because it had a lot less gore in it than I thought. Other than the ending, the gore is sort of non-existent. I mean, there's some blood here and there, but for the most part, we don't see a lot of it. A lot of the carnage is done off camera, or a person getting killed is done in a less graphic fashion. I don't want to give away how people die, but I'll just say that they sometimes die pretty easy. I was hoping for some graphic and creative kills, and you know what? Some were creative. I just wanted them to do more with it. Another thing I had a problem with is that Kurt was getting away with so much shit. Without any problems, I would have liked to seen more conflict and more obstacles that he had to overcome. And once he got his live stream audience up, you'd think that somebody, at least one person or multiple people, would report him, and so cops would find him in like 2 seconds. So that part was a little unrealistic, but again, this is just a movie. I try to throw logic out the window in most films. I think you have more fun if you do that anyway. For a movie whose plot centers around a young adult killing people in a rideshare car for clout, it really had big underlying messages that mirrored our society today. For example, most of us are addicted to our phones, as well as the dopamine we get when we get a text or a notification on one of our social media platforms. When you post something, how many of you go back and check and refresh a bunch and you're just waiting for that little red bubble to show up on your notifications? It feels good to get those notifications, right? You know, people are responding, they're liking, they're commenting, they're sharing. And to add on to that, we can get real depressed when we don't get those notifications, you know, when we get very low engagement. We can get sad, you know, just like Kurt in this movie. He kept putting out video after video after video and just never growing and never getting that viral video out that he wanted. And he got so down, so depressed that he decided to go on this desperate, reckless adventure, literally killing people to try and grow his audience. It messed with his head that much. This movie also says a lot about mob mentality and how it can influence us. In this film and in real life, you have these keyboard warriors who will egg people on to the extreme because they're in the comfort of their own homes and they don't have to reap any of the consequences. They're just cowards who talk a lot of shit that try to influence you to do something for their own enjoyment. Not all of us, of course, but yes, desperate people like Kurt. He's gonna listen to the mob, you know? Anything for those views and followers. So, Spree is available right now on Amazon Prime. I believe it's also on YouTube and a couple other streaming services. So I say go check it out. It's nothing groundbreaking. It's pretty much what you expect it to be. Just sit back and enjoy the ride on this one. And I just realized how cheesy that sounded. So I'll end it on that note. Hey, just wanted to say thank you so much for coming by and watching this video, watching all of my videos. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, I hope you do so now, and give this video a like if you liked it. And let's be friends to the end, horror fam. You know you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at The Horror Hack. Once again, my name is Johnny. Keep supporting horror, and this has been one hack of a show.